Hello and welcome back. I'm going to be discussing to you how you can cope with the November mocks coming up, and specifically how can you revise, okay? So, first of all, key dates. This is aimed at sheriff students. Thursday 7th mocks begin, Wednesday 13th mocks end, so you'll have some relief at that. There's only 5 days of them, and you have a weekend in between, so you can just cope with that a little more. So revising effectively, don't burn yourself out. That's not a license to just not revise, but don't burn yourself out. This isn't worth your mental health being killed over. It's only a mock. And I know nobody wants me to call it a mock, but it is a mock. It's only a mock. You don't have to worry about it. It's just a mock. Worry too much anyway. Revise every subject for 20 to 30 minutes and then switch. This keeps your brain active and interested because you're switching it around and you're not getting too bored of the subject, and then you can whiz through it. Rest every hour. So give yourself 10 to 20 minutes of rest every hour to check up on yourself. Just go for a walk or something. Have plenty of fresh air, drink some healthy snacks, keep a window open in the room, have some water, have some nuts or something that keeps your energy up but won't make you, won't turn you into couch potato. Don't overdo the caffeine. What am I saying? Caffeine. Water is good. Have caffeine, but also have water, because the rest of Europe has actually acknowledged that coffee actually dehydrates you, so that's why you get a glass of water, and just naturally in the rest of Europe you get a glass of water with your coffee. Here you don't, just have it on the side and just, yeah. Revision timetables, revise 5 to 6 subjects per night, switch it around, that's what I do, 20 minutes per subject. Use a priority system, so top tier, maths, English, science, second tier, languages and humanities, third tier, others, and that third tier is your choices. It's like stats, it's like psychology, and this is basically how the EBAC sort of works it, and how your school sort of wants you to work it as well. By this rule, whatever time you give English, Lit, English, Lang in total, you should give science a similar total amount of time as well for revision. You can shuffle it around dependent on your personal life, your timings, and whenever you feel that you need to work more on one subject than another. So if you feel that you need to work more on French than English Lit, then you can switch it around a bit. Like I say, these are not hard and fast rules. These are instead just things that you can switch around, just general advice. So let's get on to revising English Lit. So there are 2 skills needed for the exam: analysis and knowledge of the text, including quotes. Now, some English teachers, in an effort to try and make it seem easier than it is, will say to you, it's not a memory test. I'm sorry to say this, total lie, it is. If you are faced with a question in your exam that says, discuss how the narrator presents the Martians in this extract and throughout the text as a whole, if you don't have any quotes for the text as a whole, then you are not doing half that question. You'll be knocked down quite a few grades. It is a memory test. It is an analysis test. You have to be able to have extra proof there than just the extracts. If you can analyse, great, but you also need the extra quotes. In your mocks, you will be doing an Inspector Calls, The War of the Worlds, and you will be analysing 2 unseen poems. You will have 1 poem, you'll have to analyse something in it, and then you'll have another poem and you'll be asked to compare them. Pick out relevant quotes to learn and use Miller's magic number, 7, so that's been found to be a really good number, sort of as a mark for memory. So every theme, every character, every chapter or act, try and get 7 in. So in War of the Worlds, however, I recommend remembering 5 quotes per chapter, so that adheres to 7 plus minus 2. You will likely forget a lot of these quotes, but you will still have a lot. It's fine if you remember, for example, all of the quotes from Book 2, chapter 2, but that's fine. You still have a lot more evidence elsewhere if you've tried to remember 5 quotes per chapter. Use the folded paper method, so you should have been taught this by now, hopefully. You take an A4 sheet, you write quotes on it, you fold it and you condense it. And then you do that over and over again until you've got a tiny little smidge of paper that you've folded and folded, and on this tiny smidge of paper you've just got hints. You can put that up on your wall and you can read the hints and try and test yourself from those hints. Okay? That will help you really learn quotes. That's how I learn them. Try and also do at least one essay writing task without the text. So once you get to a stage when you think you've learnt enough quotes, try it with an essay. And try and do one poetry bit also, if possible, if you have the time. Okay? English language, you will be doing paper 1, literature and creative prose. You will receive one 19th century literature text to analyse. In the analysis, the number of marks are really just a guideline to how many quotes to use. And I say that, but what I mean is how many parts to analyse. So, for example, you can lay a quote out. Say you have, let's think of a nice little quote from War of the Worlds that I can use. My terror fell from me like a garment, or let's say, I was a battleground of fear and curiosity is a really good example for this, actually, because that's one quote, technically, but if you're on a 10 marker, you can stretch it out a bit. You can actually just take bits. So, for example, I was a battleground is war imagery, fear and curiosity juxtaposition, analyse fear, analyse curiosity. And then you've got 3 analyses, and that's 3 out of the 10, sort of. Okay? You will then receive a choice of questions for creative writing. In creative, there's a lot of guides to creative writing that you can use. My recommendation, do it in the past tense. Do it as if you're the person you're talking about, and try and make it believable and relatable, and try and use an experience of yours if possible. Okay? Try as many past papers as possible, or if you really want to, instead of just doing that, then what you could just do is general creative writing, general description, general narrative. Don't even bother having a paper in front of you, just whenever you feel like it, write. And that will get your skills with language boosted, quite boosted indeed. Okay, so mathematics, or maths, whatever you prefer. Some classes have to do weekly revision and will feel prepped. That's fantastic. The exam is on everything up to now, basically. If you want, you can use BBC Bitesize or past papers. A good YouTube channel is Primrose Kitten. She goes through maths and science, and she'll go through past papers, and she'll go through different theories. She actually does it in a very calm, relaxed way, and make notes. Remember to make notes as well. Also use Dr. Frost Maths. They have on Dr. Frost Maths you can find what's known as full coverage, where there's a selection of questions, usually about 25, on just a section of maths. So, for example, full coverage trigonometry, 25 questions on trigonometry. So revision should mostly be done via past paper or sample questions, and note-making if needed. Literally open up the internet, make notes if you need to, okay? Sciences, some teachers have set revision tasks. That's great. If you want to, you can drop an email or write messages to some guys or folks who've got like revision tasks from their teachers and ask them to send you the resource. Physics, I believe, is topics 1 to 13. Biology is topics 1 to 5, it's paper 1, and chemistry is topic 1 to 22. Try to make notes using bite-sized and revision guides. Hopefully you've all got CGP revision guide. Watch free science lessons or Primrose Kitten, make notes. Do past papers, and Quizlets often has sets for each of the sciences that you can use if you want. Okay? Languages, so topics is usually everything until now. Go over year 9. This is, you really need to go over year 9. French and German have an October revision challenge. Use them. If you haven't received these, then you can ask for them. Use Quizlet for basic vocab. Literally, your 20 minutes of French revision, if you want it to, can literally be going on Quizlet and just doing some learning for French vocab. That counts. If you don't understand a verb tense or some grammar, look it up, or ask people. Speak and translate things in your target language when you get the opportunity. Seriously, I know it seems really mundane and boring, but if you go to a shop and you are looking at the ingredients of something, instead of just looking at the English ones, look at the French ones. Test your French. Test your understanding, your ability to look at words and guess what they mean, because you'll have to do that in the translation tasks. Speaking in your target language, even speaking to yourself in your target language, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. That's good. Okay? Psychology, geography, and history. I've lumped these together because they are all content. And I know that a lot of geography teachers will say to you, no, geography isn't all content, it's got theory in it as well. But so do biology teachers, and we all know how hard it can be to revise biology and geography. You really, really, really have to work at it. So in geography, this is targeted at sheriff students. We are going over urban futures, resource reliance, distinctive landscapes, changing climate, dynamic development, and coursework. So you need to have questions. Use revision cards. The revision cards are really, really useful for it. So you use revision cards for your case studies. Case studies, revision cards, write it out, blah, blah, blah. Test yourself. Coursework as well, revision cards can be good. One for physical, one for human. Just write out what you did, how you testing yourself on what you did, how you did it, what conclusions you drew, 2 positives, 2 negatives. I haven't done history in a year, so mostly what I'm going to say is it's similar. It's literally all content, because in history there's not really any theory at GCSE. It's just, here's your content, learn it. So, revision cards, and use Quizlet, do past papers, use revision guides, blah, blah, blah. For psychology, it's all of year 10 that you're being tested on, including all of mental health. So even though we did it in year 11, you've still got young potentially on there, okay? Religious studies. So we're only on paper A. Revision guides are useful. Past papers are also useful, and my video that I just put up, and I've gone through the whole paper A Christianity unit that you can look at, make notes, blah, blah. Unfortunately, there are very few videos and YouTube channels that concentrate on RS, and when I thought I'd stumbled upon one, it turned out it was doing Religious Studies B with AQA, which, fun fact, Religious Studies B is targeted at Christian schools, and it's about understanding Christianity and Christian theology more in depth. So it was a bit more interesting, and I sort of went, but I sort of thought, oh, this isn't useful. I need to stop wasting time, because Anyway. How to structure your revision to prep for the exam. So the exams are exams. Literally, it says it in the name. The marker has a certain thing they want to see, and you have to think like them. So there are only 9 days left. So from now to the 1st of November, light prep is good. From the 2nd to the 5th, timed exams. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, timed exams. And even if it's not just timed exams, then what you can do is you can time an exam, you can pause it, and you can go and look on free science lessons, try and memorize some stuff and write it down on the exam. From the 6th to the 12th, review for the next day of exams. So from the 6th to the 12th, then really what you're looking at is you're looking at going over things for the next day. 6th, you'll be looking at going over stuff like geography, for example, and on the 12th, you'll be looking over going over maths. If there's a subject you feel really, really prepped for, don't worry about that, and you can revise for something else that's maybe in a couple of days. Okay? So I hope that's really helped, and we will see how it goes. Hopefully it all goes well, and hopefully your revision goes well. If you haven't started yet, start now. Now's the best time. Don't stress yourself out. I know it's only 9 days, but you can still do a lot. All right? Okay. See you all later. Bye.